Have you ever noticed how we convince ourselves we can buy a car even before doing the first calculation? It seems almost automatic. You see the model shining in the showroom, the salesperson talks about that installment that fits in your budget, and suddenly, your brain has already decided that that car is yours. It's as if emotion takes the wheel and math is relegated to the back seat. But stick with me until the end, because maybe you've already experienced this without even realizing it. The financing industry knows exactly how this mechanism works. It delivers immediate comfort, a sense of accomplishment, that new car smell that gets you excited, while hiding, deep down, the true financial consequences that come later. What almost no one sees is that this entire experience is built to make you think you're getting a great deal. The monthly fee seems friendly, the deadline seems normal, the approval is quick, and everything sounds too perfect. What you're about to discover might surprise you, especially when we shed light on the so-called hidden money traps. Those traps that make the car fit in your budget only in talk, but not in your financial reality. And this is where a point that almost no one talks about comes in. There is a huge difference between the car you want and the car your salary can actually afford. The truth is that this contrast between emotional desire and financial consequence is exactly where so many people get lost. When you ignore the 24-10 rule, when you decide to take out a loan without the 20% down payment, you're not just paying a little more. You're determining which side of the story you'll be on. The side of those who drive peacefully, or the side of those who spend years breathing down interest. And honestly, nobody deserves to live strangled by a car that should bring practicality, not suffering. Have you ever been through this? Or do you know someone who seemed to be fulfilling a dream but ended up trapped in a debt that never decreased? Because that's exactly what happens when impulse wins over strategy. The 20% down payment isn't just a number, it's not just another detail, it's not some expert's fussiness. It's the invisible boundary between paying now and paying forever. And the most striking thing is realizing how most people reject this step, not because it doesn't make sense, but because it hurts. It hurts to save the money. It hurts to wait. It hurts to give up immediate gratification. But do you know what hurts infinitely more? Watching the value of your car double over the years just because of interest. What if I showed you that this first decision alone, whether or not to pay the 20%, determines everything else? It determines your financial freedom, your control over your budget, your ability to buy a new car in the future without carrying a debt. It determines whether you'll drive light or spend years trying to put out a silent fire called financing. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because when you understand the real impact of this choice, the way you view any financing changes completely. And when that penny starts to drop, something changes inside us. Because it's not just about numbers, interest rates, or spreadsheets. It's about the feeling of control, of breathing a sigh of relief, of finally understanding why so many financial decisions seem to go wrong even when we go with the flow. And while I'm showing you all this, perhaps some specific situation has already come to mind. A car that became a burden, a payment that became more burdensome than it should have been, or even that feeling of having been swayed by an emotion that you now see differently. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below about what has touched you the most so far. Because when you share your experience, other people going through the same situation realize they are not alone. And let me tell you something honestly. Every comment, every like, and every subscription makes a huge difference in ensuring that videos like this continue to reach those who truly need to hear these truths that almost no one explains. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. So if this is helping you in any way, click the like button right now and consider subscribing to continue this journey with me. It's like creating a community of people who want to make better choices, escape hidden financial traps, and finally take control of their own economic lives. And you are part of that. As you participate, reflect, and share your perspective, I want to continue delving deeper into this topic because there's a crucial point in this 20% down payment story that many people have never heard of. And understanding it can completely change how you approach any financing from now on. When we start looking more honestly at this process, we realize that the real villain isn't the car itself, nor the financing, nor the salesperson. The real villain lies far before that. It's the emotional difficulty of dealing with the immediate pain. Because saving up the 20% down payment isn't comfortable, it isn't quick, and it doesn't bring that immediate feeling of victory that the brain so desperately craves. It's easier to fall into the trap of, I deserve it now, than to face the discipline of waiting a few months, cutting expenses, saving, and building your own security. It's not laziness. It's human. Behavior. It's impulse. It's that inner voice telling you that you're falling behind while others are already driving. But this desire to accelerate the achievement has an invisible price that almost no one considers at the time of signing. And the data reveals a hidden truth that explains much of the financial pain so many people experience. More than 80% of buyers finance a car with a minimal down payment or even zero down payment. And that's exactly where the monstrous interest rates that will haunt the person for years are born. It's not just a number on paper. It's a decision that changes the person's entire financial trajectory, even if they don't realize it at the time. Because when you ignore the down payment, you're choosing to pay much more than the value of the car. You're choosing to embark on a journey of installments that consume energy, freedom, and even the ability to make other important decisions in the future. There's a silent impact in all of this. What hurts now saves much more later. But at the moment of purchase, nobody wants to feel that initial pain. It's like a small sacrifice that seems too big for a benefit that isn't yet clearly visible. That's why so many people prefer the seemingly easier path, the one that gives you the car now, but demands a gigantic emotional and financial price later on. It's curious how such a small decision, often made in minutes, can define entire years of budget constraints. And it's precisely at this point that financial mindset begins to make all the difference. Because when you see what's behind the financing, you realize that waiting doesn't delay you, it protects you. When you understand that this resistance to the 20% isn't a personal flaw, but a natural reflection of the desire for immediate gratification, you begin to see the situation with more compassion and clarity. And, at the same time, this empowers you to choose a different path, a more conscious path, with less anxiety and more autonomy. It's almost like opening a window and finally seeing what was hidden there all along. This revelation transforms not only how you buy a car, but how you make decisions in other areas of life, because you begin to notice how small choices shape big results. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a specific reason why the 20% down payment is so crucial, and when that becomes clear, the whole logic behind the financing starts to truly make sense. Before continuing, leave a comment below. That makes sense to me. When we get to the practical part, everything starts to make even more sense, because the 24-10 rule isn't some distant theory, an expert trick, or a limitation invented to make anyone's life difficult. It's actually a kind of map that shows you exactly where the pitfalls and shortcuts are on this journey of buying a car without destroying your financial health. And the most curious thing is that when you look at it calmly, you realize how simple it is. 20% down payment, 4 years of financing, and a monthly payment that doesn't exceed 10% of your salary. It's almost like a compass that always points towards the intelligent decision, even when emotion tries to pull you towards haste. Imagine this visually. A $30,000 car seems very distant when you only focus on the total value. But when you understand that a $6,000 down payment acts as a kind of shield against abusive interest rates, the perception changes. That $6,000 isn't an obstacle. It's protection. And when you spread the rest over 4 years, not 5, not 6, not 7, you drastically reduce the impact of interest and preserve your power of choice in the future. This translates into a healthy monthly payment, a kind of financial breathing room that prevents the car from becoming a monster, sucking your salary month after month. Now, look at the other side of that same story. When you ignore the 20% and finance practically everything, the interest doubles, the term is exceeded, and the payment tightens like an invisible rope that gets tighter every month. It's like entering a road that seems smooth at the beginning, but which is full of hidden traps further ahead. And these traps don't appear in the shop window. They don't appear in the conversation with the salesperson. They don't even appear in the shine of the new car. They are behind the scenes of the financing, in that contract full of details that almost nobody reads, in the decisions made in haste, in the impulsive choices that seem small, but determine years of your life. This is the hidden truth of the 4-20-10 rule. It doesn't exist to limit you, to keep you waiting, or to prevent you from owning a car. Quite the opposite. It exists to ensure that you are in control of the car, and not the other way around. It's what separates a healthy purchase from a burden disguised as an achievement. It's what transforms an emotional decision into a conscious one. It's what puts you in control of your financial journey and not the other way around. And when that mindset begins to solidify, something inside you changes. You stop looking at the down payment as a punishment and start seeing it as an investment in freedom. You stop seeing the short term as a difficulty and start understanding it as protection against endless debt. You stop thinking only about the present and begin to see the impact of the coming years, an impact that can open doors or close paths, depending on the choice you make today. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because there's a visual comparison between paying now and paying forever that completely changes how we perceive the real cost of a car. Before proceeding, write in the comments, "I'm on this journey too." When we put these two realities side by side, almost as two possible paths in the same story, everything becomes clearer. On one hand, there's the decision to pay the 20% down payment. It's not comfortable, it's not quick, and it doesn't bring that immediate sense of accomplishment that so many people seek. But when you observe the impact of this, you realize that this choice completely changes the course of your financial journey. The debt becomes smaller, the interest decreases drastically, the term shortens, and for the first time, the car truly fits within your income without crushing your budget every month. It's as if you've created space to breathe, to plan, to continue living without the shadow of a heavy payment always hanging over you. Now, on the other side, there's the path most people choose. Not because it's better, but because it seems easier at the moment. Those who ignore the 20% down payment end up financing practically the entire value of the car, entering into a long-term relationship with interest that grows like a silent inheritance. And the most striking thing is realizing that, over the years, this person pays almost the price of another car, just in interest. What seemed like a quick win turns into a commitment of 5, 6, 7 years, sometimes even more. And when the time comes to change cars, they are still in debt for the old one. It's like running on a road that never ends, always trying to reach a balance that never truly comes. And this comparison isn't just about numbers, it's about mindset. Because what hurts now saves your future. What seems easy now enslaves you later. It's a harsh revelation, but liberating at the same time, because it confronts you with a hidden truth that no one explains. Long-term financing isn't a benefit. It's a mechanism that traps you. A 20% down payment, on the other hand, is a decision that protects you. It's almost as if you're choosing between carrying a burden for years or enduring a short-term discomfort that gives you back your freedom. This contrast also shows the emotional impact that each decision generates. The person who saves up for the down payment, even with effort, experiences the process consciously, understands the value of waiting, and reaps the benefits of this discipline over time. On the other hand, someone who takes out a full loan lives in the shadows of anxiety, constantly calculating, always fearing unforeseen events, always trying to balance the books at the end of the month. It's a difference that goes far beyond the car. It affects the person's entire financial life, shapes choices, limits dreams, and changes priorities. When you see these two realities in this way, almost like mirrors showing possible futures, you begin to realize that the car is not just a vehicle, but a symbol of the decisions you make every day. And it is in this awareness that true transformation resides, because you begin to make choices with more clarity, calmness, and a longer-term vision. Money ceases to be an enemy and becomes a tool, and the financial journey stops being a tiring race and becomes a lighter, more organized path. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a layer to this story that many people ignore, a part that explains why changing cars becomes a constant problem for those who don't understand this logic. Before continuing, comment below. That makes sense to me. When that comparison finally settles in your mind, something begins to change inside. It's almost as if a new lens fits before your eyes, revealing a truth that was always there, but that haste and impulse never allowed you to see. Because, in the end, the question that really matters isn't about the car, the price, the model, or the promotion. The question that decides everything is much deeper and much simpler at the same time. Would you rather wait a few months, pay the down payment, and drive light, or get into the car today and be in debt for half a decade? That's the silent crossroads that almost no one notices at the time of purchase. And when you honestly look at that choice, you realize that financial discipline isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's the chance to decide now so you don't suffer later. It's trading short-term discomfort for long-term peace of mind. It's understanding that no car is worth the feeling of being trapped, suffocated, always chasing a bill that never seems to decrease. Discipline is the ability to see the invisible impact of small decisions. And this awareness changes everything because it transforms how you relate to money, to consumption, and even to your own desires. There's an important revelation here. Planning doesn't delay you. Planning protects you. This phrase seems simple, but it carries enormous power when you put the numbers on the table. Because waiting to save up for a down payment doesn't mean wasting time. It means gaining ground. It means building a solid foundation. It means making clear decisions. It means freeing yourself from that cycle where you're always on the edge, always strapped for cash, always hoping nothing goes wrong. This is the hidden truth that nobody teaches. Not in school, not at the car dealership, not in a quick chat with friends who have also fallen into the trap of long-term finance. The transformation begins when you understand that the car isn't the problem. The problem is how the decision is made. When you choose to use the 20%, the car ceases to be a prison and becomes a resource. It stops being a burden and becomes an ally. It ceases to be a symbol of immediate achievement and becomes a smart choice that strengthens everything around you. Your budget, your plans, your peace of mind. And the more you think about it, the more you realize that this shift in consciousness goes far beyond the car. It reaches all areas where impulsiveness tries to dominate and strategy tries to survive. The sensation is almost physical. It's as if you're breathing deeper, realizing that there's a lighter, more conscious, and far more sustainable path than the one most people follow. And when this connects with your own journey, you begin to see that true power lies precisely in the ability to choose what is difficult today in order to reap what is valuable tomorrow. It's a change in mindset that reorganizes priorities, illuminates decisions, and puts you back in control. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject because there's a crucial point that explains why so many people get lost on this journey and keep repeating the same mistakes, even after years of feeling their impact. Before continuing, write in the comments, "I'm on this journey too." If you've made it this far, it's because this topic has truly resonated with you. And that says a lot about the kind of decisions you want to make going forward. So, let me sincerely ask you something. If this content has helped you see car financing from a different perspective, please consider subscribing to the channel, not out of obligation, but because I want to continue bringing you conversations like this, clear, direct, and full of truth, that help you navigate this financial journey with more awareness. Also, tell me in Nauai the comments that you stayed until the end, right? This message was for me. It's always good to know who stuck with me this far, who's truly willing to make the switch and make smarter, less impulsive decisions. And of course, if this video resonated with you, leave a like before you go. That really helps keep this conversation alive and strengthens this community that's forming here. And look, there's a video right here that perfectly complements this topic and delves even deeper into this transformation in how we view money. Click and continue watching it there.